All right, so today we're going to be starting our fourth day of poetry. Tomorrow will be our last day studying poetry, and we'll be moving on to another umbrella, another unit of study in reading. So in today's objective, readers notice when poets use alliteration and assonance, okay? So we're focusing on two key vocabulary words for today. So let's look at alliteration first. Alliteration is when two or more words close together start with the same consonant sound. So some examples include leaps laughing, suddenly soft, starts spinning, drifts down. So can anyone point out the same consonant sounds in those examples, just so that we're all clear on what a consonant is? So, Marcos, go ahead and start us off.
Leaves laughing and I think suddenly soft.
Yep, they're all examples of alliteration, all of them. So there's no odd one out here. It's just, what do you notice? What do you notice? What are we finding here? Daniel?
The first letter on all of them, well, in each box, the first letter of the two words are the same.
Yes, so L and L, S and S, S and S, D and D. Consonant. What's a consonant? Reckon?
Is a letter that isn't a vowel.
Yeah, not a vowel. Okay, so when you think of the alphabet, any letter that is not considered a vowel is a consonant. So here, it's saying they have to be the same consonant sound to be an alliteration, okay? So these are all examples of what that would look like. So, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. And examples include feeding leaves, pale wafer. So where's the repetition there? Can anyone find the repetition for feeding leaves? What's the sound that's being repeated? Zoe?
Like, and feeding leaves, it has the E and the feeding, so feeding and leaves.
There you go. Yeah, in feeding leaves, it's the E sound. So after F, you have E, ing, E, ding, E. So the E sound is there in both of them. That's why it's considered an assonance, all right? Now, in pale wafers, it's the A. A, O, W, A, fur. Okay? Pale and wafer. That's where you're getting that sound, that repetition. All right? Now remember, the core here is a vowel sound. So you're looking for a repeating vowel sound. All right. So looking at Snowflake Wakes by Joyce Sidman. I'm going to read through this, and you're going to think about those things that we were talking about as I do this, all right? So alliteration and assonance. Snowflake wakes, whirling, arms outstretched, lace sprouting from fingertips. Leaps laughing in a dizzy cloud, a pinwheel gathering glitter. Drops into air, suddenly soft and full, a lattice of stars spinning silently. Drifts down, touching and tickling, clinging and clumping. Hugs earth, sighs and settles, sleeps, tucked in its own blanket. So, now that we've kind of looked through this, think of these questions here. So what do you notice about the first two words of the second stanza? So, stanza 1, stanza 2, stanza 3, stanza 4. Okay? So second stanza, first two words, leaves laughing. Wasn't that one of our examples, Wesley?
They both have the L to the beginning.
Which is called?
The name. It's a long name.
There's two. You have two to choose from, so which one would it be? Zoe, you want to help them out? Alliteration would be this one. Yeah. Leaps, laughing. You're right. They both have the same L sound. so that is where that's coming from. All right. The first two words both start with the letter L. This is called alliteration. Alliteration is when two or more words close together start with the same consonant sound, which we talked about already. Where else do you see alliteration in this poem? So here's the poem again. Where else do you see alliteration in the poem? London? Suddenly soft. Yep. So that's right here. Suddenly soft. Anywhere else? Wesley?
Gathering glitter.
Gathering glitter. All right. Yep. There you go. That's another one. Amelia?
Snowflake wakes. Decay.
So that would not be alliteration because one starts with an S, the next one starts with a W. Okay? Marcos?
It sounds like when you're reading it near the end, like hug their side and settle. It sounds like you're either talking to the third person, or you're just someone that says, "Me want food, me hungry,
Okay.
me hung."
Okay. But what does that have to do with alliteration? We're looking at alliteration right now.
For alliteration, spinning silently or stars.
All right, spinning silently. That does work. Stars spinning. Yep, that works as well. Any other? Zoe?
And I already said gathering glitter.
We did. Yep, but you're right. That would be one of them. Brecken? Wakes. Swirling. Where's that one at?
It's when swirling.
Wake
Very
swirling.
top.
Oh. There. Yeah, you're right. And then settles, sleeps is another one. I think that's all of them.
Did we get drifts down?
No, we did not. You're right. Drifts down would be another one. Okay, good. So there's a lot of alliteration in this poem. So, Oak After Dark. I believe we've read this one before. Now, when we go through it, think about alliteration and think about assonance, all right? As nighttime rustles at my knee, I stand in silent gravity and quietly continue chores of feeding leaves and sealing pores, while beetles whisper in my bark, while warblers roost in branches dark. I stretch my roots into the hill and slowly, slowly drink my fill. And 1,000 crickets scream my name, yet I remain the same, the same. I do not rest, I do not sleep, and all my promises I keep. To stand while all the seasons fly, to anchor earth, to touch the sky. So I believe, in this one we're going to ask the question, what do you notice about the words feeding, leaves, and sealing? So going back here, let's see if we can find that part in the...
Second stanza.
Yeah, there we go, second stanza. Feeding leaves and sealing pores. What would that be called? Is that alliteration or assonance? Marcos?
That is a sonnet because I believe so the second letter starts with the E, and also they all have the I think hard E sound where it says feeding.
Yes. Yes, you're right, Marcos. So it is assonance because remember, assonance cares about vowels, and they all have the same E sound.
And you don't hear the A sound.
Yup, that's true. So you hear the E sound in all of them. Eating, eaves, ealing, sealing, leaves, feeding. They all have the same E sound, so that makes them assonance, okay? Now they don't have the same consonant in the beginning, so they can't be alliteration, all right? But they are assonance in this example. Good. So these three words, feeding, leaves, and sealing, have the same vowel sound. When a vowel sound is repeated in words close together, it's called assonance. So who can find another example of assonance in this poem? So we're doing the same one, Oak After Dark. We just read it. Any other examples of assonance in here? This one will the assonance is a little bit more tricky, right? Because you have to think about the sounds that are being made, not necessarily identifying the letters. So you got to think a little bit. Wesley?
Isn't the same kind of assonance?
So I guess you could look at it that way because they both have a sound, right? Same.
And they're spelled
And they're the same word, right?
Remain
So
the
that
same,
could
the same.
that could work. You could also look at it maybe with slowly, right? Because they have the O, and O is a vowel. So maybe those are some examples. Brecken?
Maybe the last one. You stand while all seasons fly to
That's more like
Okay.
that.
So let's think. To stand while all the seasons fly, to anchor earth, to touch the sky. I'm not really hearing any sounds being repeated very closely together there, so I don't think it's assonance. It kind of sounds like just they're all uniquely sounding words. I'm not really hearing any repeating going on there. Zoe?
Can we do like in the second part of the sentence?
Yeah, all it cares about is that the words are close together. That's what assonance cares about. So where do you think you're seeing that example? Hill and Phil? Oh, right here? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little too far away, I would say. London? Where, can you say that
You
again?
already did that technically. You did the same thing.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. They kind of have that A sound, remain, same. Yeah, that would work. Marcos?
Feeding leaves and stealing.
Ceiling?
Stealing.
Yeah, we did that one already. That's already an example that we have. Trying to see, is there any other? This one isn't really much of a sonnets one, it looks like. Okay, but that's okay. Not every poem is going to have a million alliteration or assonance examples within them. All right, so in reading today, you're going to be focusing on this mini lesson response. Remember, mini lesson response is in section 2. You do not need to write me a letter when you're answering mini lesson questions, okay? You just have to answer the question or do the task that it's asking you to do. So in this case, why do you think poets use alliteration and assonance? So, in your mini lesson response, which is section 2, you're going to want to write your reasoning why you think poets use alliteration and assonance, those two things that we focused on today. Alright? So I should see that in your second section of your reader's notebook. So, you guys can go ahead and start getting your materials and get ready for reading today.